So last time we met, we talked about being consistent, being grounded in the fundamentals, the simple things that maybe you simply weren't doing. And I hope since we chatted last time that you had the opportunity to really reflect on and invite the Holy Spirit into the conversation of your development and growth as a spiritual leader. And it all begins with the fundamentals. It all begins to renewing that commitment to being close and drawing close to the heart of God. He will not run from you. You take a step towards him, he will take 2 steps for you. And that's where it all begins. And today I want to talk about the other aspect of growing. The G is for grounded. We're going to skip to the O. The O is on ownership. Ownership. One of the things that we talk about when we work with executives is a book, I think it's called The Seventh Discipline. I think that's what it's called. And he talks about being a professional that is either above the line or below the line. And when he talks about being above the line and below the line, it just means what kind of professional are you? People who are below the line like to blame others. Right? They focus on blame. They make excuses all the time. They live in denial. People who are above the line on the other side, they're all about owning the opportunity, owning the moment. They are willing to be accountable, right? And they're also responsible. They take responsibility for their actions. They take responsibility for their world. They take responsibility for their results. And so when we're working with executives, one of the things we really challenge them to do is to work above the line, to build teams, and to build departments, and to build an organization that constantly works above the line. As I was thinking about this, I was thinking about our own spiritual development, and I wondered in my life if I am more above the line in my spiritual development or if I'm more below the line in my spiritual development. What do I mean by that? Well, I know that there are times in my life where I've been frustrated that the pastor didn't deliver the message that I really needed him to deliver. I wasn't getting the teaching that I really needed. Right? You might be feeling that way right now. I might be blaming him for a lack of programs, or there wasn't enough opportunity in the church to serve, or they weren't doing the things I wanted them to do. I was always about blaming other people, blaming my pastor, blaming spiritual leaders. I was below the line because I was focusing on blame. I was also below the line because I'd make excuses. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I don't have the expertise for that. I don't know where to get that kind of information. I would make excuses for my spiritual development. And I'd also, unfortunately, there have been times in my life where I lived in denial. That's not very important. I'm saved. I know God. He knows me. I've got my salvation. Why do I need to continue to grow? I'm doing all right. And I honestly thought that I was further along than I really was because I was living in denial. I was living below the line. But there are times that I challenge myself and I strive to live above the line with my spiritual development. I take ownership of my spiritual development. I don't rely solely on other people to feed into me. I own it. And I partner with the Holy Spirit in moving forward in my spiritual development, knowing that He is the greatest teacher of all. I'm accountable. I'm accountable to my wife. I'm accountable to my friends. I'm accountable to people that are colleagues of mine, that I continue to dive into the Word, that I continue to draw them close to God so I can grow spiritually. I'm accountable, and I'm also taking responsibility. I have to do it. No one else. Me partnering with the Holy Spirit, moving forward to grow. See, when Jerry Rice got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do the simple things, he was taking responsibility. He was being accountable to his team, and he was owning his goal to be the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. He was living above the line. He was getting what I would say his oars out for ownership, accountability, and responsibility, and rowing every day, doing the work every day, consistently. He was not in bed, sleeping, living below the line, blaming people, making excuses and living in denial. He was not in bed, he was rowing. My question for you is, what are you doing? My question for me is, what am I doing? Every day, consistently, do I decide to get up and grab an oar and go to work and be intentional about my spiritual development? Or I stay in bed, make excuses, blame others, and live in denial? I want to encourage you that we need to draw on the Holy Spirit to be our guide and walk hand in hand with Him every single day to grow. See, we're grounded in our disciplines, but we're also grounded in ownership that connects us to our Father.